Welcome to this primer on developing a funder's presentation. My name is Scott Holson, and I work for Vermont Small Business Development Center. At the center, we help Vermont entrepreneurs succeed. The funder's presentation is a laser-like focus of condensed information about your business. Because you have a limited time period for the presentation, it is imperative that the message is broken up into manageable blocks of discrete information, and then rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. Guy Kawasaki's 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30-point font rule for presentations is going to be modified for this presentation, since you'll only have 12 minutes to deliver it and 3 minutes for questions and answers. So this presentation will focus on 7 slides. You will find that keeping to the 30-point font will force you to simplify and clarify your message. If you can't keep to the 30-point font, you are not being succinct enough. If one day you have a funder's presentation outside of VIF, you may find yourself in a situation where you have an hour presentation. If this is the case, you should plan on using 10 slides. That'll give you 10 concepts to share with the audience. These will be the most important topics that the audience cares about. If they want to know about your 20-minute history, they'll ask you. Please don't subject them to anything other than what is on this list. These 10 slides should take you 20 minutes to cover. Yes, you have an hour, but stuff happens, and if you plan on speaking for 30 or 40 minutes, and you are interrupted for 15, you'll simply run out of time to answer their questions. So now back to VIF. For the purpose of the VIF presentations, you'll have a total of 15 minutes. VIF suggests that you do not exceed 12 minutes, and give 3 minutes for Q&A. Frankly, I wouldn't exceed 10 minutes in the presentation. If you can't communicate what you need to in 10 minutes, I doubt you'll be able to do it in 13. So that means we need to condense the presentation itself. This doesn't mean you should cram 10 slides of material into 7 slides, but instead, we'll change the content and simplify the message. The third component of the formula is font size. I strongly advise you not to use a font smaller than 30 points. Please don't be one of those individuals who think that the audience wants to read every last detail, because they don't. Give them the basics, what they want to know, and if they have other questions, they will ask. The bottom line here is that using these guidelines will make your presentations better, because you'll be required to find the most salient points and explain them succinctly. All right, so let's get started. First of all, every slide should have your logo in the upper left or lower left. As this is the first slide of the funder's presentation deck, you want to start off with your company name and title, what your company does to create value for customers, how long you've been in business, and why you are in front of this audience. Most importantly, though, you need to state what problem or opportunity you are trying to overcome or take advantage of. Please remember that you will be verbally explaining this and all slides, so keep it simple and direct on the slide. If you can't write this in a sentence, then you need to whittle away at it some more. Slide 2. What's your solution and what special magic does it do? Refrain from using any technical jargon and keep this really high level. I like to use examples like, we turn air into water, or we make biofuel from algae. It's a magical statement that says, poof, here's what we do. Next, you'll need to state who the customer is and how you know that. This process is called validation, and there is no substitute for speaking to the potential customer, confirming that they are in fact interested in your solution when compared to other alternatives and at a price they are willing to pay. Anything other than actual customer validation is pure speculation. Validating your value proposition with potential customers minimizes the potential risk that is on the mind of every angel and venture investor in your audience. In the third slide, outline what the market is and how you know that. Again, validation is important, so explain how you validated this. Next, you will focus on how you intend to run this as a business. Will you manufacture or buy? Will you develop a sales force, or are you the sales force? How will you distribute? If you know the industry trends and growth rates, you can verbally mention this while discussing this slide. The takeaway from this slide you want your audience to know is how are you going to run this as a business and make more money than it will cost to create your product. In the fourth slide, you have a chance to show how great you are compared to the competition. Please don't say that you have no competitors. You may have a product that is truly unique and no one else does anything like what you do, but you still have competition for the consumer's dollars. If that's the case, make this point on this slide, showing a matrix of significant value here. Because of font size, you'll have to condense this information. You certainly cannot show 10 or even 20 features from each of your competitors, but you could condense all similar features into one line and say the additional lines of the matrix for what you do, but your competitors don't. This will highlight your strong points. Slide 5 covers your most important team members and if you are missing any specific talent. If you have a board of directors or board of advisors, it's a good idea to mention this, as well as service providers and investors who are already on board. Please don't mention any potential investors that are just about to sign. Save that for later conversation. In slide 6, you will need to outline important milestones and what risks that have already been eliminated. Since this is a very high-level conversation, you may approach this as we set out to create something, and on XX date we did that. Or you can say on XX date we proved that we fill in the blank. Plus you need a super abbreviated income statement. Just 3 to 5 years will suffice and only show sales, costs all rolled up into one item, and earnings before interest and taxes. Lastly, and this you can explain verbally, what are your next steps or timeline? Slide 7. What is your ask? What is it that you really want from the audience, and why is this important? Recognize that it isn't always money, so be specific and explain why and what the reasoning is, as well as what will obtaining the ask do for your business valuation. If it is capital you seek, how much will you need in the next 18 to 24 months, and what will you use those funds for? Always end the slideshow with your name and contact information. Thank VIF for allowing you to present and invite anyone interested to speak with you at the next break. And that's what it takes to make a funder's presentation. Thank you for listening and best of luck to you.